Rockets. Hello and welcome to episode 66. One more six and we got an issue. Two-man game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. It is Tuesday, January 28th at the date of this recording, 10:25 p.m. I've been running amok for the last 13 hours. Work, band practice. Now I'm here with dinner, so I'll mute myself so the listener doesn't hear it, but that is happening, just so you know. It is a wonderful day. The Rockets have won 4 in a row. I'm wearing this sick beanie that I talked about that my mom gave me over the break. I think it's like really old, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, here you go." So of course I watched it, and I was like, "Okay." Um, but it's cool. Dom, how are you?
Heyo. I am doing well. Been very busy these last few days and weeks, but I'm looking for. I'm trying to catch more NBA, which I'm able to. So that has been nice to watch. When I'm not playing music, we had 2 gigs last week that were a lot of fun. Had a good time. One was on a rooftop here in Los Angeles, and it was also a benefit concert. So all the proceeds went to victims of the wildfire. So. Pretty cool. Also, it rained over the weekend. That was pretty awesome, I gotta say. It hasn't rained here in a bit, so that was cool. God's like, hey guys, hey, I heard some stuff's go. Hey, here's some rain. Hey, have some change. There you go. Basically. So, thank you. Um, but yeah, no. I've been good. I am trying to find, the NBA season's not done by any means, but it's starting to kind of wind down, especially after All-Star. So I'm trying to find those last few games to go to before playoffs start. So pretty sure I'm going to go to Pacers and Pistons against the Clippers. So
That'll
just
be
gonna
cool.
find people to go to. Yeah, because I got jerseys now. I got a Reggie Jackson jersey, baby. Show off my
That
pride.
Reggie Pride,
Reggie
who doesn't
Pride.
play for the Clippers or the Pacers, but he used to play for
Oh,
the Clippers.
are you talking about Reggie? Okay, yeah, Reggie Jackson. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, episode 66, I wanted to shout out LeBron James on the Miami Heat and LeBron James when he broke the scoring record for the Lakers. Boom.
Yeah, he was 6 for like a little bit.
Yeah, he was six for like a season and a half. Well, a season or two. I don't remember.
From what I remember, I think the story was like he was changing himself back to 6 so AD could go back to 23, and then AD didn't go back to 23, so it was like, okay. Or like he missed the deadline to like put that in or whatever.
It was, I'm
Uh,
pretty sure it was just the
oh,
first season. It was just, yeah, it was just the first season Russell Westbrook was there. And they had the sick nickname 360. You remember that, dude?
no.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Russell Westbrook, speaking of Russell Westbrook, while we're talking about him,
All
starting
Stars.
while Aaron Gordon is coming off the bench as like the backup center for the Nuggets, basically. That's how good
That's
Russell Westbrook has been.
that's wild because that's actually I don't like the Nuggets. I
I
haven't
love
watched
to
them in a
see it.
bit. No, I love to see Westbrook and Jokic doing their triple double thing. It's very cool. But how have you been? I know you've been very busy today, but
Yes. Today has been busy, but a good busy for the most part. Um, Life has been good. Started that Star Wars RP D&D thing last week. That was really fun. Another session tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Shout out Ryan for DMing that. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I like I mentioned earlier, I went to band practice for the first time in a while because I took a little hiatus there. I forgot I got this and I didn't show you, but I'll show you right now here on the pod. Um, Bev, who is like the lead of the percussion section, which I'm a part of,
hmm
very like motherly lady, very nice, and like makes us all feel welcome and stuff. Gave me this, a little bear with a drum on
Yo.
it that says Blocomotion, which is the name of the band.
Yeah.
Because our little group is called the Drummy Bears. That's like what we call the percussion section. So um, yeah, a little bear with the drum on it. It's very cool.
That's cute. Did you get one to everybody or just you?
I think the whole percussion people got one. I
Oh,
think everyone
okay.
else got theirs like a month ago, but I haven't been there. So she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, I have this for you." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
That was very nice of her to include.
Yeah, but other than that, just running a mile a minute. But life is
Yeah.
grand.
Dude, I know that. I got something. My next free night is next Monday.
All right, I guess I know when we're potting next week.
I might have plans. No, it's probably gonna be good for that. Anyways,
How do
yeah.
you
Have you?
take you time, huh?
Don't really have you time or me time. I don't really have you time. I don't really have me time, and that's why sometimes, um,
Sometimes you just gotta do nothing, man.
yeah, man. And I really try. That's when I go to work. Oh, I'm
Oh,
kidding, kidding,
don't
kidding,
send this
kidding.
to your boss, huh?
No, 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 no. I don't know. I find time, you know. And then if I really need a break, then I'll give myself a break. But I'm feeling good going out and like doing things and like playing music. I haven't gone to open mics in a while. I don't know if I mentioned that, but like I'm trying to do that again because I just kind of miss playing new music for people. So
Hmm.
it's been a while. And oh, we were supposed to have a gig before my birthday, but it got canceled because the venue's closing.
Well,
So
that sucks.
bummer. So I got a free night now instead of playing a show. So that's
I'm sure you'll find something to do.
oh yeah, no, no, I will. I'm excited. And then yeah, Super Bowl's on my birthday. Not looking forward to that at all.
I hate these.
Uh,
I hate these. I will always hate these little
those
ketchup
ketchup
packets.
packets.
I absolutely hate them.
I hate other things more, but they're not my favorite.
I love when
Um,
they have like the dipping kind of sauce ones that
like
you just peel off.
Canes,
Dude, so good.
Canes. You know what else I like? WNBA news.
Oh, let's get into it, shall we?
Okay,
You're like
fine.
enough talking.
You
Enough.
take you take the first one
I will
because
take the first one because it's a big thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so basically this big trade happened in the WNBA, of course, in the offseason right now. But the Seattle Storm, they are trading six-time All-Star Jewel Lloyd, who is 31, to the Las Vegas Aces, who just barely lost to the Liberty in the WNBA championship. And a big move that ends up somehow with Kelsey Plum on the Los Angeles Sparks. Kelsey Plum, three-time All-Star, 30 years old, very good WNBA player right now. Um, so it's a big deal, Kelsey Plum being a good player, but they're getting back Jewel Lloyd, who's a six-time All-Star. Um, the Storm are also getting from this trade the number two pick in this draft. So that's a big deal, number two, and another player that I don't want to mispronounce their name, but I don't
Yeah,
really know anything about them.
Lee Yuru. I'll just say
Lee
that.
Yuru, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
the Sparks are getting the ninth pick along with Kelsey Plum. So that's good for them. And then the Aces are moving to the 13th pick, and that's from the Sparks. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Basically, the Seattle Storm are kind of rebuilding, right? They're trading their best player for the number two pick and some other things. And then the Sparks are getting Kelsey Plum, who is like a established good veteran, maybe to kind of help mentor Cameron Brink and see, how quickly can that team turn around? Probably pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then the Aces are making like a another all-in move essentially to try to go back to the championship.
Okay,
So
and did the Aces lose anyone? Did they lose
they lost
Kelsey
Kelsey
Plum?
Plum. Yeah.
Oh, but they got Jewel Lloyd.
Yes.
Are they like the same position or are they different?
No clue.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, thank
A lot of
you.
moving pieces.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm excited. I definitely am going to go to a lot of Sparks games because they're affordable and they're also fun, really. And also in the WNBA, Brittany Griner, whom I'm sure most of the world knows her name, is signing with the Atlanta Dream in a stunning move. She spent her entire 11-year career on the Phoenix Mercury. So very interesting. Wonder why. Maybe more money. Who
Yeah,
knows?
kind of out of nowhere. It was one of those
Yeah.
like usually you'll hear like, oh, this player's probably planning on leaving. This one
Yeah.
was just like people probably thought she was going to resign, and she was like, actually, no, I'm leaving. I'm out.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't understand, but hey, you know what? I just remember last year Phoenix Mercury tickets being like $60 and then if the Sparks played any other team it was like 5. So maybe I'll
Maybe
get
the
to see
Mercury
them.
tickets will be less expensive
Yeah,
now.
but I don't know who I'm gonna see, so
Right.
um yeah. I'm just there to have fun anyways.
We're just there to have fun. Just like the people who will be at NBA All-Star Weekend, where
Oh,
Andre Jackson Jr. and two-time back-to-back world champion, reigning champion Mac McClung has committed to the NBA dunk contest. So now we have our four participants. We announced the other two rookies last time, whose names are escaping me because I forgot
Modest
who they are.
Buzalis
Uh,
and
Modest Buzelis and Stefan Castle.
yeah,
So now you have um, Andre Jackson Jr., who is a second-year player, I believe, on the Bucks, and then
yeah.
Mac McClung, who's coming for the three-peat, and he'll probably get it. So,
I was just about to say, I think it's like Stefan Castle and Mac McClung. Other two, I'm like, especially Buzalis. I'm like, dude, what? I hope he blows me away, but otherwise, I'm just like, okay, cool.
crazy.
Yeah, you know what else was crazy?
What's
That
that?
Miami Heat suspended Jimmy Butler for a two-game road trip after he missed their team flight. And I'll keep it going. So in a follow-up to the suspension, they also issued another indefinite suspension after Butler walked out of a team shoot around. They informed him that they would be starting Haywood Highsmith over him. So, um, yeah, I guess it's inevitable at this point. Jimmy will either be moved or just not play.
Yeah, it's about as inevitable as Thanos. It's so you miss a team flight, you get suspended for the road trip. That makes sense, I guess. 'Cause
Yeah,
it happened to
then Zion.
Zion. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But Jimmy Butler already in a kind of tense situation. And then crazy, it feels like it's on purpose, right? To tell him at shoot around, hey, by the way, like you're gonna be coming off the bench. We're starting Haywood Highsmith, which fine NBA player, no Jimmy Butler,
Yeah.
no multi-time All-Star, what have you, faced the franchise for the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
it seems like they wanted to elicit some sort of reaction to give like a reason to suspend him, maybe. Um, so yeah, it's looking pretty over for the Jimmy Butler and Miami days.
Yeah, I just don't know where he's going to end up. He has a big contract, and I know it's expiring, but
Just wait till he
uh,
gets traded to the Suns for Bradley Beal.
dude, man, the Suns they shouldn't. I really hope they don't.
And it's I mean, you have this going on. You had the exit in Minnesota, um, which I don't. Do you know a lot about that? Have we talked
Uh,
about that?
yeah, I know you mentioned it last time, and also I found it a little bit off pod too about
Yeah,
that, and even like with Chicago, and it seems like
Chicago.
everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much every place is like a dramatic exit. So, point being, what is his value? Who's like, I don't want that guy on my team for sure now. I also learned I mentioned the Grizzlies as a place he did want to go to last time. Apparently, that's because they wouldn't extend him immediately following the trade. Like they made that known. So that's why he doesn't want to
Oh,
go there because he wants the extension. Um,
oh, okay, I
they're
see.
more worried about, their kind of core guys that they want to make sure they have taken care of. So they're
Makes
they're
sense.
they're like, we're not going to commit. Like we're going to see how it looks, and then you know
I
what
really
happens
wish,
happens.
yeah, I really wish he would just like, I don't know, because the current contract he's on, you got to pay it out, but like maybe there's some agreement that like they'll re-sign him, but it'll be like lesser, not as much, and he can just kind of be there to be like a mentor and maybe win a championship. Whoever
But he
would,
wants the money. That's the show.
I no 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 no, I'm agree. I know I'm saying I wish it was like
Oh yeah,
more
yeah.
like that kind of situation,
If
but
only
yeah, it's not always
the saga
like how you
continues.
want it. Absolutely. And we'll keep you updated here at Two Man Game with Damon and Dom.
Subscribe. Another saga that seems to have kind of come and gone this season. De'Aaron Fox. So we had the thing with Mike Brown being fired, a lot of tension between him and De'Aaron Fox, and then once he was fired, the Kings started doing really well. But he apparently informed the organization it's probably in their best interest to trade him because he likely doesn't want to be there long term. And he seems very open about going wherever that they can kind of get the best value. But he did mention the Spurs specifically as a destination he wanted to play for. Any specific thoughts there? I know you told me off pod.
Yeah, there's a couple of thoughts I have. One, I really don't like when players let know which teams they want to go to because now the Spurs have basically all the chip like they have all the bargaining chips. They're like, okay, we know De'Aaron Fox wants to come here, so now we don't have to offer as much or give up as much.
Hmm.
So I'm not a fan of that, or at least like letting that be known to people, you know.
Right.
Um, don't love any player who's been basically there the entirety of their career and has said like they love playing there and been through so much, went through went through a drought of not being in the playoffs, and now you're like in contention, for play-in, playoff, whatever. And now when you're like, you know, basically fighting for that, you're not the bottom of the barrel, you're like, now I want to leave.
Right.
So I don't love that. And I didn't really think De'Aaron Fox would be that guy. He didn't strike me as that when I see him in interviews and the way he talks about the team and the franchise. So I don't love hearing that. I wonder, I mean, also like I'm assuming the Kings, because of that animosity between De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown, they were like, okay, we're gonna choose De'Aaron Fox. So Mike
Right.
Brown, see ya. And now De'Aaron Fox is like, okay, so now I'm leaving too, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, if
Yeah.
he goes to the Spurs, what are the Kings going to get? They're obviously in win now mode because they just traded for DeMar DeRozan. So it's like, what
Here's
are we going to
Harrison Barnes. Back
literally?
to
It's
the
like,
Kings.
welcome back. And it's like, what else are you going to get? Because Spurs don't want to give up picks. So like maybe just
Right.
like throw in like Doug McDermott. Oh, wait, no, he's already on the Kings. Sorry.
I was gonna
He
say,
was on the
I don't think
Spurs.
he's on the
Yeah.
Spurs anymore.
Sorry, I know. But yeah, I was just thinking, but yeah. Those are
Here's
my thoughts.
Zach Collins.
What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Um, yeah, I don't like it. I mean, communication of this nature, I guess, is better than not communicating and like not letting your interests be known. But I feel like this could have been, maybe an under the table thing. It's weird that it's like a public thing now.
Yeah, especially because for before just rumors, and I honestly didn't believe it because to me, sometimes when teams like they were struggling, like they're in the news because Mike Brown and then Doug
Hmm.
Christie winning streak and things like that. So it's just people kind of making up news to have news.
Hmm.
But I hate seeing that it's really is official basically at this point.
All in the season of Royale. So sad.
I love Royale, dude.
I love
Dude,
him.
top dude, best of city jersey
Yeah,
this year. Yeah,
S
for
tier.
sure. S tier. Yeah, well, let's talk about some like kind of cool things, good things, news wise. The Warriors announced that they will be retiring Andre Iguodala's number 9 jersey. Um, Pretty cool. I thought it was kind of random, but I mean,
Finals MVP
I know once.
once.
Well, I mean that was I honestly when I think of Andre Iguodala, that's not the first thing I think of. I just think of him getting blocked, but that's not his fault. I think of him getting blocked, and I think of him on the 76ers before he went to the Warriors. And I
Yeah.
just remember him being a really good defender and a really good role player.
Yeah, he was like
And
a six man for most of his time in the Warriors, so
and I guess he definitely played an important part in their championship. How many did he win? Did he win all four with them or
yeah.
three?
Yeah, yeah. All four, yeah.
Right, because the fifth one was at 2022. Okay, gotcha. I mean,
No, that was the fourth one. 2022 was the fourth one. Was he not
so
on
they
that team?
won.
Maybe it was only
No.
three then.
Okay. Well, anyway, all the ones when it was the dynasty, whatever, right? Like,
2015, 2017, 18. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So that matters, but like, does that all mean you're also gonna retire Kevon Looney's number? You know,
We'll
it's just
see.
I guess. I mean, I like him as a player, and I really didn't think he'd be someone that had their jersey retired, but you
Hmm.
know, I'm happy for him. I'm not against it by any means. Do you have any thoughts?
Um, no, not really. I mean, it's yeah, it's fine. It's like okay, cool. Like I guess
Yeah, it's like, you say a name like Dirk Nowitzki, you're like, okay, Pau Gasol.
you say Dirk
It's like,
Nowitzki, and you're like, yeah, and then you're like, and also JJ Barea, and it's like, ah.
wait, JJ Barea? Oh no, he didn't, right? You're just
No,
saying as an
yeah,
example. Okay, okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like he was there for the championship. He's like, yeah, but
yeah. He's not
you
the
know,
guy.
he's not the guy. Yeah, or I mean, yeah, especially when you and that team is like, you're definitely gonna retire Steph, you're gonna retire Draymond, you're gonna retire Clay. It's like,
Maybe.
you'll retire Clay for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but like, are you gonna retire KD? He was more important.
No, no, I don't
I
think
know,
so.
but he's the one who I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, it's kind of that. But
I hear you.
but it's kind of like, is it kind of like the Thunder retiring Nick Collison's number?
Just there forever. But
Yeah.
Iguodala spent half his career on the Sixers, so
No, no, I'm just trying to think of things that have been happened in the past similar to it, but
I'll tell you what's similar to it. Vince Carter getting his
oh,
jersey retired by the Nets. So he was retired by the Raptors already. Now he's going to get retired by a second franchise, the New Jersey Nets, is number 15 for both. Um, but yeah, a guy that also bounced around a lot and
yeah.
spent times on multiple teams. He was on the Nets when they went to the finals. I think that was '01, maybe. Um, no, '01
Yeah.
was the 76ers. I
No, it's
lied.
O two. Then O two for sure. Yeah.
'02. Um, so yeah, he's on that team with, Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, those guys. Um,
Kenyon Martin.
this feels like Vince Carter is so famous. That's why his jersey's getting retired. It's like when I think about like best Nets ever, it doesn't really pop into my brain, you know?
He's third to me. It goes Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson.
I would put Brooke Lopez above him, all-time leading scorer, Nets franchise history.
Dude, I forgot he was even on the Nets, man. I'm
All
thinking New Jersey Nets, baby.
Julius Erving was a net, I think. Um,
Dr. J
yeah.
in like the 40s?
Yeah, yeah. Not that
No, I
long.
know. In the 1890s? No, I'm kidding. Um, I kind of see what you're saying. It's cool. But I agree. It's like Vince Carter's a name people know. Like you say Vince Carter, everyone
Right.
knows it. Say Iguodala, don't know as much. I do think the two franchises is kind of wild, but at least he did play a majority of his career on each of those. Like it's not like the Hawks are going to retire it because he played like his last season there or
Right.
something, you know. So,
Yeah.
um, at least that's what I kind of feel like.
And you know where else he played?
Dude, I know he played so many places.
The Mavericks,
He
which have
did.
had a couple of injuries lately. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, and the first one we're going to talk about is Derek Lively. He suffered a small fracture in his foot. He's going to be sidelined 2 to 3 months for the
Yeah, it's just
Mavericks.
about
So,
playoffs, basically.
so they got Daniel Gafford, and now you got Dwight Powell. Uh, and
Legend.
and you could have had one other guy run the five, but I think he's suffering as well.
Yeah, that guy is Maxi Kleba, suffering a broken right foot, out indefinitely. So a lot of big man injuries for the Mavs right now. Pretty unfortunate for that lineup. Of course, Luka is still out as well. So yeah, they're sliding down the standings here, but hopefully they can bounce back soon.
Absolutely. How about some good news? Want some good injury
Let's hear it.
news? All right,
Tell
Jared
me,
Vanderbilt, who we haven't talked about in like 17 years, who signed
fashionista.
who signed with the Lakers. Was with them when they went to the conference finals, and last year didn't really get to play. This year hasn't played until last Saturday. So Jared Vanderbilt was medically cleared to play finally for your Los Angeles Lakers and debut against the Warriors on Saturday,
Why are they mine?
and we won. I mean, like the listeners
Oh, the
because they're
listener. Oh,
all
I
of
see.
ours. They're all of
Gotcha,
ours.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and I wasn't able to watch the game because I had a show,
Big fan.
but you're right. I chose my career over the Lakers. I'm such a fake fan. But I looked at the stats, like watched some stuff. I even sent you a clip.
hmm
It was just a very simple clip of Jared Vanderbilt getting a steal, passing it forward to I think Austin Reeves getting a layup, and I almost like teared up. I was like, man, I miss this good. Like seeing
Yes, my Lakers.
yeah. And then shall we go right to the Lakers update?
That's why I had it there. Nope.
Dude, you got it. Talking about the Lakers. The Lakers were on a 4 game winning streak. They beat the Wizards pretty handily. They beat the Celtics, which I could talk about a little bit. They beat the Warriors and they beat the Hornets. And I put Hornet, and you made sure I knew that because you said that to me. So beat the Wizards, worst team in the league, so easy enough. The Celtics just couldn't make shots. I don't think the Lakers were really doing anything too particular. This was before Vanderbilt was back too, so um,
Yeah, I
they
remember
locked
when
up.
they were started off the year really hot and almost broke the all-time like threes record in the first game of the season against the Knicks.
Yeah,
They're like 16th in three-point percentage now. They have slid very far.
and again, I mean, I've said it and I'll say it again. When you put all of your chips into one thing, it will fail you. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't hate any NBA franchises, but I'm looking forward to that.
Sure.
Warriors, they've been sliding for forever. Didn't it help that Steph Curry was 0 for 8 from three?
Mm.
And then the Hornets, Anthony Davis scored 21 points in the first quarter. And he finished the game 42 points, 23 rebounds, and 2 assists in 37 minutes. The first quarter we were up like 39 to 21.
Mm.
And then the game got closer in the
So he
fourth
had as
quarter
much
as
points
the
as their
Lakers
whole
did.
team the first quarter.
Yes.
Nice.
Isn't that yeah. And then of course, as the Lakers do in the second half, it got closer, but they got the win. And that's what matters. Today they played the 76ers and they lost. And a big reason why, two big reasons. One, Tyrese Maxey. He scored, I was listening to it while driving home. He scored 27 points in the first half,
Mm.
which is really good. And without Joel Embiid, without Paul George, and Anthony Davis went out after the first quarter, and he did not return to the game because he had a abdominal strain,
Uh-oh.
and he might be out for a few games.
That's tough.
Yeah. I want to mention this was a back-to-back. So
Yep.
they were in Charlotte, and then they were in Philadelphia, and now he's injured.
They
So
were both road games.
yeah,
Charlotte to Philadelphia in a back-to-back is insane.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, injuries and like stuff. It's like,
NBA. NBA.
would that
Have
have
you
happened?
I hope you listened to our pod where we talked about the schedule.
Come on, listen to our
Listen,
pod.
listen.
I'm doing the Norman Powell.
Yes,
Anyways,
yes.
let's talk about that was that's some bad news. We'll keep updates on what's going on with Anthony Davis, but let's talk about a team that's doing really really well, and I'm really really excited for.
You and me both, partner. That's the H-Town Houston Rockets. Seen on my beanie here. If you haven't peeped, you gotta look at this thing.
Keep it.
This is a sick logo. Where did we go wrong? Why aren't we doing this one anymore? I don't
It's
hate the logo
because
now, but this one is so good.
although all the logos from the '90s rule because they're a little extra, they're a little too much,
Yeah.
and they're awesome for that. And then everyone decided to go safe. Anyways,
Like the
NBA,
Pistons logo now? It's like a red ball with a blue outline and it says Pistons.
dude,
Whoa.
it used to be
Used
the
to be a
best logo.
horse. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
with a
Uh,
piston.
right. So yeah, the Rockets 32 and 14, a second in the West. We have won 4 games in a row since last pod. Back-to-back wins against the number 1 seed in the East, Cleveland Cavaliers. Both very close games, but um, we won. That's what matters. And then we beat the Celtics yesterday in an awesome game. Amon Thompson had a career high 33, hit the game winner. It was an awesome game winner. He kind of shook Jaylen Brown off of him and hit this like kind of almost like mid-range floater, like half a second left, and then Peyton Pritchard do a full court heave, which is always scary, because that guy can make those. Dylan Brooks also not talked about a lot in this game. 36 points, 10 threes for Dylan Brooks. So
Career high, I think, in threes.
I don't love that. 10, I mean, yeah, I would assume so. You know,
I
but
love you like 36 points, highest scoring rocket in the game. Didn't love it was Dylan Brooks,
yeah,
but we got it
you
done.
hate to see Dylan Brooks succeed. No, but yeah, I've been talking about it all year. I'll keep talking it. I've been talking Amon Thompson up. I'm like, he's going to be great. He's going to be awesome, and he is proving me right. So I'm very glad because I feel like, I feel like I, as a Rockets fan, I was a little early on it. I was like, no, this guy's going to be like super good, and he's showing me right now. And I've been telling everyone that'll listen. I'm like, I'm telling you guys, this guy's awesome. Defense is awesome. Hustle's awesome. He had 33. The guy basically can't shoot the ball. So, it was mostly just getting to the rim, good defense, transition, etc. But I really like watching him. I think it's going to be a conversation when Jabari comes back on who's the starting five. Because right now it is Fred, Amon, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Shingun. So who do you slide out for Jabari when he comes back? Amon is making a case that it shouldn't be him. Um,
It's Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks, I could also see. I could honestly, crazily enough, I could see Jalen Green getting moved to the bench. Um, like a
I
almost
mean,
like a
he could be
six,
like a
become like
microwave.
Jordan
Yeah, yeah,
Clarkson,
yeah.
that
I
kind of
could see
guy.
that. Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, I think he's playing so good. He's averaging like 18 points and like 2 blocks and 2 steals since moving into the starting lineup. So
Yeah.
um, he's awesome. Enough about that. Um, but he was also put into the Rising Stars roster, which
Tell
we
me
can
about
now
it.
get into. So I'm gonna keep this quick because there's a lot of names on here. Rookies that were named: Bub Carrington, Stephon Castle, Tristan Da Silva, Zach Edey, Dalton Connect, Jared McCain, Yves Missy, Zachary Richeshay, Alex Sarr, Jalen Wells. Couple of things I want to touch on here. It looks like they really wanted to get the first 3 picks in because Alex Sarr, Zachary Richeshay on there, and then Reed Shepard from the Rockets is in as a G League mention, even though he's only played 3 games in the G League. So I don't know about that. Um, no Khalil Ware, who is currently the betting favorite for Rookie of the Year, according to
Really?
yeah, he's been playing like super well in the chaos of Jimmy Butler. Everyone's focusing on that,
Yeah.
but he's been like awesome for the Heat. Uh, Jared McCain is out for the season, so
Yeah.
that's an interesting name to have on there. I guess just maybe for the accolade. Um, and Ryan Dunn, I also thought would have been a notable rookie
Yeah.
mention because he's been, I think, playing very well for the Suns. So I just wanted to mention those things. Do you want to do the sophomores that are on there?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we got Bilal Coulibaly, my boy Grady Dick,
Yes, sir.
Keontae George, Scoot Henderson, nice to see. Trace Jackson Davis, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Derek Lively II, Brandon Miller, Amin Thompson,
Yes, sir.
Carson Wallace. I
Ah,
don't know that NBA player. Supposed to be Cason Wallace. And you
misspelled on
point,
the official NBA graphic.
yeah, official NBA graphic. They're like Carson Wallace, right? And then Victor Wembanyama. So no surprise right there.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy that Wimby is on here. Because the guy he's going to be an all-star. So because it's supposed to be All-Star Team A versus All-Star Team B and All-Star Team C versus Rising Stars.
right.
What if Wimby is an All-Star and a Rising Star? How could he be both?
Well, I
Um,
feel like if he's the All-Star, then they'll won't include because they're gonna do that first before this. I'm
yeah.
assuming,
And
right?
I
Yeah.
know these
So.
guys like this is just the pool of players.
Mhm.
They are going to have their own little tournament. They're going to get into teams and have their own little tournament to see who's that fourth team in the
Oh, right.
All-Star format.
Yeah. But I mean, I like the choices. I can't off the top of my head. I like no Jarris Walker. It's like the only one I can really
Yeah,
think
there's not.
of.
I couldn't think of like a ton of sophomores like you said up top of your head. Derek Lively is out for 2 to 3 months. Brandon Miller is
Yeah.
out as well. Right now, he like broke his hand or whatever. We talked about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. Yeah, I mean, if anything, like Scoot maybe like is interesting because like I feel like there's another sophomore that could fit in. But I'm happy for him. I mean, telling you like he's been playing a lot better, and I
I
like
feel
his
like maybe it's just
defense.
because he didn't play enough, but I would have liked to see Asar Thompson on here as well.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
obviously shout out. I mean, as especially if so maybe you know this. If they're injured, do they replace them in the pool, or are they just not gonna pick them?
I don't know because this is like a new format. It used to just
Yeah,
be like, for a while it was first year players versus second year players, like rookie
right.
sophomore. That was it. And then it was like um rookies and sophomores, but like they had a world team and a USA team.
I
That didn't
remember
make
that.
any sense.
Yeah.
And then they started doing this
Yeah.
little tournament with the G League. So it's like they keep changing it, so I don't know exactly how the replacements work.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we'll find out, but good names to mention, and happy to see Dalton Connect also mentioned in the rookies. It's cool
And
to
let's
see.
not forget the G League representatives.
Oh yeah, please.
J.D. Davidson, don't know who that is. Mac McClung, legend. For the Magic, he's on their G League roster. Bryce McGowens, I didn't know he was in the G League. I've sung his praises on the Charlotte Hornets before. We have watched him before. He was at Summer League.
Oh yeah,
Um, Leonard Miller on the Timberwolves, we're familiar with him. We watched him in Summer
familiar.
League as well. Reed Shepard literally barely played in the G League, but I think they just wanted the number 3 pick to be there, basically.
Yeah.
And then Pat Spencer, and I don't know how to say this last name. I would assume it's Dink Pate.
I
Don't
thought
know
it was
who either of those two are.
I thought it was Dink Pate.
Dink Pate. There's no way it's Dink Pate.
What? Because I when I saw that, like I think I'm a little because I wanted to say Pink Date because you flipped
Flip the letters.
the
Yeah, yeah, for
consonants.
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool list. I'm interested to see like some of these players I haven't seen, like J.D. Davison, Pat Spencer, and Dink. I'm just gonna say Dink because definitely Dink. It's definitely not the Ink. It's Dink, and then his last name. So,
Right.
but very cool to see that. And oh, these are all your lots of injury. Okay, that's all your notes right there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm really excited about?
What's that?
Well, we already had the All-Star revealed, but let's talk about. I want to decide for our All-Stars who we picked. That's what I'm
Yes.
really excited about. But before we do that, I'm assuming we should probably tell the listeners who was picked as All-Stars.
Yeah, so the All-Star starters were announced. I'll go ahead and take the East here. Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns. What do we think about it? Well, we're about to tell you all All-Stars, so just wait a second. We'll get there.
Yeah, and then on the West side, we got Steph Curry, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here's my question, real quick,
Mhm.
to you. When the order that these are in, was Steph Curry, did he have the most votes and then Shea, or is it alphabetical
No,
when
I
it
don't
comes down to
know how
this?
they decided to do this. Because Shea was definitely the top vote getter
Yeah, it looks
in the guard
alphabetical
spot.
if I'm looking at it, like by last name, because even then Durant, James, Jokic, and then
Oh yeah.
so
That
on
that I
Antetokounmpo,
think you're
Tatum,
right, actually.
Towns.
I think that is how it was done.
And then before we go into our All Stars, I
Mhm.
want to ask, are how did you do it? Did you do it in an order afterwards, or did you just? I mean, obviously we did guard, guard, forward, 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 and then you know,
Yeah. I mean, I think I understand what you're asking. How I did it, because it is, for those listeners, if you don't know, the format for All Stars is 12 people from the West, 12 people from the East. It is two starting guards and three starting front court players. And then it is two bench guards, three bench front court players. And then there are two wild card spots of any position. How I did it to make sense for my brain is I took the two guards that I thought deserved to be starters and I kind of organized them at point guard, shooting guard based on what I thought made sense in terms of positions. And then I took the three front court players that I thought should be starters and I organized them small forward, power forward, center based on what I thought made sense.
got it. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. I wasn't sure. Is it MVP, right? That goes in order of
MVP is just in
votes.
order. All
That's
NBA
what I
teams
got.
this year will just be in order
Position.
the top
Okay,
five MVPs. Uh, they're no longer positions; they're
got it.
positionless.
Okay, so
So
that was me just getting used to the format. Okay, cool. If that's the case, then I'm ready to dive in. Do we
let's
want to
dive in.
do East first? You wanna tell me your two or one East guard, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, that's a good question. Let's do
Yeah.
two. Let's do two.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's
I think we
let's just
should just
take
do it in like
category at a
groups.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Cool.
Okay, my East starting guards. I'm gonna start with the less surprising one, I think,
Okay.
because I think the second one was a little surprising. So, uh, I had Jalen Brunson in my starting Eastern Conference guards. Here are some stats for you, because I did some research on the
Thank
stats.
you.
46 games played. He's averaging 26 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, shooting splits 49% from the field, 40% from three, 81% from the free throw line. And of course, the Knicks are the third seed in the East right now. Still the driving force of that offense. They're looking really good this year on offense, even with the additions of Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I think people thought this is going to be a really good defensive team. And the offense is just singing over there. And, he's the engine that keeps it running while also being, the guy at times. So he's kind of functioning for both of those things. And just having another solid season. So that's my
Cool.
first guy.
All right.
My second guy, this was hard. This one was hard for me in terms of who should be this player.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of guys in the East in the guard position. Like basically, I would say the next, like my next guard I'm going to mention in the starters, my two bench guards, and even one of my wild card players. I feel like we're all pretty close.
Okay.
Um, but I gave the edge to Darius Garland, starting Eastern Conference guard for me. 45 games played. He's averaging 22 points, which is second highest on the team, 7 assists, 2.5 rebounds. Here's what really stuck out to me, though, the efficiency. 50% from the field, 43% from three, 88% from the line. So he's almost 50, 40, 90. And just like I kind of mentioned with Brunson a little bit, he really is the engine of that Cavs offense this year. I think in past, under JB Bickerstaff, they really kind of had an issue with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Your turn, my turn with the ball. How does our offense run? This year, it does feel more of a Darius Garland thing. Like he is the initiator of what they're doing on that end of the floor. And obviously, except for the Houston Rockets, they're blowing everyone out. And a lot of it is on offense. So I think he's a big reason why the Cavs are the 1 seed, of course. So I think they'll probably have a couple All-Stars. But I gave him the starting nod.
Got it. Very good points. I also was flipping back and forth between Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. But for my East starters, I did Jalen Brunson. I'm sure no surprise. And I did Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Do I have any stats? No, I've just watched some Cavaliers basketball, and what I've seen, that's why I gave the edge to Donovan Mitchell. A lot of mine is eye test. I did a little bit of research, but I've been
Yeah, I mean,
more kind of
obviously,
watching these.
I watched
Yeah.
and then I'm just giving the stats for,
No, yeah,
just so
and that's
people
great.
know.
I did look it up when I was picking, but I did not write it down. But yeah, I gave Donovan Mitchell. I mean, he's been an all-star before. He's dynamic offensive guard. Cavs are the 1 seed, so that is why I gave them gave the starting to him. Let's talk about the front court in the East
And
real quick.
he was a starter, so you're correct.
Oh yeah, yeah. So my starting front court for the East,
Yeah.
it's not anything crazy.
Hmm.
You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's a lock for sure.
Hmm.
Karl Anthony Towns
Hmm.
and Jason Tatum. I mean, and that's who the people picked. And I did some research, and I have my favorites. I have other ideas, but when I really came back to looking at the standings, what I've personally watched, I mean, it's hard to deny that these three are big factors on the teams that they are. Cat is obviously the second best player on the Knicks right now behind Brunson, and even when Brunson's cold, then Cat takes over, and he's been having a phenomenal season. So very happy for him there. He's getting recognized for that. Jason Tatum is actually he's not he's not averaging a triple double, but he's flirting with it.
Hmm.
Which is, I mean, I didn't really expect to see that from him this season. So, pretty cool to see. And the Celtics are second in the East. And I mean, Giannis is just a monster. I mean, it's so hard to stop him. He's a stat god. So, and he's like third in MVP right now. So, yeah, that's my front court. What do you have?
Yeah, I had the same three. That's probably the easiest part of the list for me,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
Eastern front court. So yeah, Tatum, 44 games, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 45% from the field, 35 from three, 80% from the line. A little lower in efficiency than you maybe like to see at that field goal and 3-point percentage, but uh, just the guy for the Celtics, the closer. He's the alpha. We get it. Um, Giannis, only 38 games. He's missed a little bit of time. Um, 31 and a half points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 61% from the field. Um, the guy is just a get to the basket monster. And like you said, there's nothing you can do about it. Please stop shooting jump shots. You're shooting 14% from three. Cut it out.
Don't do that to
59,
yourself.
59% from the line. He has to work on his free throws too. Um, Bucks are having a good season. They're the fourth seed right now. They're kind of under the radar a little bit. I think they really started off sluggish, and we talked about that, but they've definitely bounced back in a big way. Um, and then Cat, 42 games, 25 points, 14 rebounds. He is rebounding the heck out of the ball over there. I want to say that's like second in the league in rebounding.
Yeah.
Um, 3 assists. His efficiencies are crazy though. 54% from the field, 43% from three. That's your starting center. 84% from the line. So almost 50, 40, 90 with a couple more free throws.
Yeah.
Uh, like you mentioned, Knicks are the third seed. I would say he's probably having the best season of his career.
Yeah.
He's looking very good in New York, and like I said, their offense is really, really, really good, and he's a big part of that. So yeah, that those three were very easy to line up for me.
Yeah.
No Embiid this year with all the time he's missed and things like that. So
I mean, even like Paul George has been out with all the time missed too, so I didn't consider him. I think those are the two I was like, oh, if they were not injured, they might maybe be
yeah,
here. But 76ers also not looking great because they're, anyways,
nah,
not
no,
not
they're
neither
not.
here nor there.
Do you want to
Shall
do
I
the
do the
West starters? Do
West?
you want to? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I'll do the West guards. That's
okay,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, the West guard starters. Okay, cool. So, I have uh two guards. Who would have thought? I have Shea
Whoa.
Alexander, of course. I mean, he's my MVP this year.
Mm.
Should have been Jokic last year. I mean, sorry, should have been Luka last year. But I'm gonna stop saying that once I die. And then
Wow.
I know what I feel. I know what I want. But SGA has been having a phenomenal season. The Thunder, are the first seed, they look scary good.
hmm
How does this team just keep getting better and better, looking better? I think Shea's a big part of that. He's been, it's a lot of young guys, and he's still young, but he's also been in the league, for a bit. This is his second team. He didn't start on the Thunder, so um, yeah, it's really crazy to think about this progression for him. And to me, he's an absolute lock for a starter. Now, second, who I have as a guard is not Steph Curry. I have Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Now, there's a reason why I have Anthony Edwards and not like Luka Doncic, and the reason is very simple. Luka's injured,
Yeah.
so because
I
of
don't
that
think he's making the
reason,
All-Star game with 19 games played.
exactly. So that's why I put Anthony Edwards. I know he's been having I've watched quite a bit of Timberwolves basketball, and it is feel like almost every shot he takes, he makes. He is shooting the highest volume from three from his career. He has the highest percentage of three from his career, and Timberwolves have been struggling a little bit, but they aren't down at the bottom of the West like they're fighting in the middle because of him. So I think he deserves some praise for that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Um, I have SGA as well, you mentioned. 44 games played, 32.6 assists, 5 rebounds, 53% from the field, 35% from three, 90% from the line. And the Thunder are the first seed by a mile in the West. They look very good, and he is 100% the guy on that team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I would say I probably still have him second in my MVP. I'll get to the guy I have first. I probably would have Giannis at third, though. Yeah, that's probably my top three right now. Um, and then second, I also don't have Steph Curry. I have Anthony Edwards, just like you. This one was a little difficult. I flipped a couple people here and there. Um, but 46 games, 26.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 44% from the field, which is not great, but 42% from three is great, and he's leading the league in threes. It's not like he's taking two a game. He's taking a lot per game, and he's really making them 83% from the line, seventh seed. So, like you said, they're not doing amazing right now, but that middle of the West is very jumbled. The 4 seed to like the 10 seed is like a 2 game difference basically.
Yeah.
Teams are constantly moving up and down, so you can definitely see them jumping up. Clearly an adjustment with Julius Randle and all that stuff going on over there, but making the most fit, scoring in bunches as he does, and I think deserving of this second starting spot.
Yeah.
But
Very
they
cool.
gave it to Steph Curry because it's in San Francisco. Um,
Yeah, and also Steph Curry. I mean, it's just the name. Like, we'll get to other people that have names, and that's why they got picked. But shall we do? You want to take the front court, West front court?
so you had the same exact Eastern five as the voters. I
Yeah.
had Garland instead of Mitchell, and then so far we didn't have Steph, but we both
Right.
had SGA. Okay, yeah, I'll do front court.
Let's do
So
it.
my front court was a little difficult. I had one for sure, a lock,
Yeah.
Jokic.
Yeah.
40 games played, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. He is averaging a triple double. For real, I'm not rounding up. He is averaging a triple double. 57% from the field, 47% from three. Um, 81%. Nuggets are the fourth seed right now in the West. The guy is just nuts. He's crazy. I don't, I don't understand. Um, Carrying the Nuggets, I think, because they've had lackluster seasons. I think from some of their role players like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon was out for a while. Russell Westbrook's the GOAT, but we already know that. Um, but Jokic, non-negotiable starter. The other two were a little tougher for me. The second guy that I made my decision on was Anthony Davis. Um, 42 games played, averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 53% from the field, only 30% from three, so not great. 79% from the line. The Lakers, of course, right now are the fifth seed. So they're sitting in a good spot. I think he's been their best player this year over LeBron James. I don't have LeBron in my starters. Um, and of course, the defense. The defense is very important. Underrated part of a lot of NBA players' games. I still don't think it gets talked enough about for Anthony Davis. The guy is a very talented defender on a team that kind of prides itself in defense, but doesn't have very many good defenders. So he
Yeah.
kind of has to do a lot of the work there. I think he earned it. And then the last spot, I was flipping between two guys. I ended up landing on Kevin Durant. So I did go with Kevin Durant.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay.
he is the lowest games played on my list, only 35. Um, but he is averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and the efficiency is what always gets me. 52% from the field, 40% from three, 83% from the line. The Suns are the eighth seed, which is not amazing, but like I said, it's very close, narrow margins between those teams out in the middle of the West right now. And their record when Kevin Durant plays is really good. A lot of those losses are when he was out a little bit with an injury. But he's just having a really super solid, efficient scoring season. Um, so I just kind of threw him in there. And that's where I landed, but I was in between a couple of guys. So I end up without Steph and LeBron in my starters, but I have the same other three.
Gotcha. Very good list. Mine are pretty similar with some differences. So, Jokic is a lock, of course. He is having a phenomenal season, and you could say that with the lack of help that he's getting, that's why he's having the best season of his career, probably. Even with
The
KCP leaving and
three-time
everything
MVP
too.
having the
Yeah.
best season of his career.
Yeah, I
Wild.
look. I know it's amazing. He's MVP. I mean, he's MVP, but he shouldn't be. But that's it is. It's fine. It's just what is it? Recency bias.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it is.
Voter
But
fatigue.
he's playing great, and it's hard to deny. Very fun to watch. Anthony Davis is also another lock for me as well. A lot of things that you mentioned. It's unfortunate that he is injured now. Hopefully, not out for too long. He has had a pretty healthy season thus far. And like you said, like he's the best player in the Lakers. There's a big reason why they're not again at the very bottom. So, and his defense is a big part of that. And my third front court starter, I looked up some stats, I made some decisions. I picked LeBron James.
Oh, wow.
He
Lakers
because
bias.
look, I didn't want to, but I just think
I didn't
cons
want to do it.
I didn't because it's LeBron James, like it's the name. But I was looking at his stats, and I was how many games he's played, and he's having a relatively healthy season. He's also flirting with the triple double average. It's like hard to deny, like at that age, what he's doing. And I also he's played more games. I Kevin Durant was the other one I considered, but I just don't think he's played enough games in my eyes.
That's fair.
So, and that's yeah. That's about it. But yeah, that's my starting five. Or yeah, for the West.
Speaking of starting five, they really missed out on a Jimmy Butler season, huh? They could have done this season with Jimmy Butler instead of last season. The
What do you
show on
mean?
Netflix.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, I was like, what are you? Yeah, that would have been what is it? Turbulent to say the least.
hmm
Um, yeah, but it's okay. They have James Harden this year. Whatever.
That's right. You're,
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
they're
I'm
good.
sorry.
Yeah, you're
Do
good.
you want to do your Western guards on the bench?
Sure, I'll do it.
Is that
So
how we do it?
I believe that yeah, let's do it. Let's do it for sure. So I got Steph Curry
Okay.
having a good season. Yeah, the Warriors are slipping, but he's still playing really well. So I don't think he deserves to be a starter by any means, but he deserves to be All-Star. Now, this next one is tough because it should be Luka Doncic, but with the injuries, it's kind of hard to pick, another guard. So he is who I have, but in my wild card, I have somebody,
Okay.
and I want to probably just throw him in there instead. And
You
that
want to
is
swap someone from your wild card to your bench?
because I'm just gonna say that I mean Luca is not
Oh,
gonna
you
be able to.
have Luca on there.
I have Luca on my as
Oh,
my
I see.
guard, but I don't. He's not gonna be able to play, and
Right.
also they're gonna have to replace him anyways, and he probably doesn't even qualify, right?
No.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick someone else, and the next person I have is Norman Powell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Norm
Lakers bias now, huh? Literally.
representing.
No, I mean, come on, he's playing great basketball, and right, it is crazy because I went through all the teams and looked at players and stats, and I haven't seen West guards are not impressing me as much as they usually do. Like a lot of the usual suspects are not playing like their best seasons. So I'm like, who's playing as at guard and who is really there for the team? And I mean, Norman Powell, I looked at James Harden, I looked at Norman Powell, I was like, Norman Powell deserves it over James Harden for sure.
Hmm.
So Norman Powell, first time All-Star, I'm assuming,
Probably one of the older first-time All-Stars. Um,
if he is one. Yeah,
older, most improved players if
yeah.
he's in that race. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna go with the guy you haven't mentioned in my guard spot on the
Okay.
bench. That's gonna be Kyrie Irving. Since Luka Doncic is out, Kyrie in his 37 games, because he has missed some, but not nearly as much as Luka, averaging 24 points, 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 48% from the field, 42% from three, and 90% from the line. So very efficient. And he's had to carry a lot of the load with Luka being out, of course, kind of reverting as the primary option. Mavs are the ninth seed, so they have slipped quite a bit since I mean, we just talked about two more injuries. They're starting to look like the Pelicans out there. Um, but he's been, kind of quietly good for them. So I think, maybe this is the last All-Star he ever gets in his career, but um, I think he would deserve it this year.
Yeah, I think
And
that's a good.
then the second guy I had, not Steph Curry. I still don't have Steph Curry. How about this? Norman Powell, my second guard.
Oh, let's go. All
um,
right, I like it.
having a great season. I think about the off season when the Paul George thing happened. And he said, addition by subtraction. And he is just absolutely getting buckets. 24 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists. So not crazy numbers outside of scoring, but 49% from the field, 43% from three, shooting very efficiently, which you love to see. Uh, 84% from the line, and the Clippers are the sixth seed. They're having a good season, and he is probably been their most efficient player. You can make a case for James Harden being their best player. James Harden is the playmaker, kind of the offense, but I couldn't get there with the efficiency. He's very inefficient this year, and he has a lot of turnovers as well. He's good playmaking, but also turning the ball over a lot. So I gave it to Norm. Norman Powell
Nice.
represent.
I
Double
love that.
Norman Powell on the pod.
Yes, Norman Powell squared.
Norman
I love
Powell
that.
squared. That's right.
I love that for us. And so what's next are we gonna do just the wild cards and then because it's like,
Um,
or do you want to do the East
I
from?
think what did we do? What did we do earlier? Did
Oh
we
no,
do
that's okay. No, no, no. Let's go to the
East
East.
guards?
Yeah, we're gonna do East guards, and
East
that's
guards? Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
All right.
Do it.
My first guard off the bench is somebody you have already mentioned. That is Donovan Mitchell. He is my guard off the bench. 44 games played, 24 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 44% from the field, which is not amazing, but 40% from three, 83% from the line. Those are pretty good efficiencies. The Cavs, of course, again, the first seed in the East still. And he is their primary scorer. So Darius Garland runs offense, but Donovan Mitchell has been their best player for some time. So I definitely think he deserves to be an all-star. And of course, he's a starter in the actual game. Then my second guard, having a good year that not a lot of people are talking about. I think I got Damian Lillard as a guard on the bench. He is in 37 games, averaging 26 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Pretty good numbers. 45% from the field, 38% from three, 92% from the line. And they're the fourth seed. So I think he's been a big reason for the Bucks' offense this year being a lot better than it was. It seems like him and Giannis have gotten a lot more used to playing with each other and complementing each other well and how they operate on the court. Um, I mean, the Cavs are basically having this like legendary season. The Celtics are, coming off of their championship with like a really stacked team. The Knicks have been really good with Cat, and then the Bucks are right there. Like, this is fourth seed doesn't sound great, but like they're having a pretty good season,
Yeah.
and especially because they started off so badly, and people were so worried. And last year was such a disaster that they're really putting it together this year. So I wanted to give it to Dame.
Great choices. I like them a lot. Who I have, Darius Garland. So I wanted to give some Cavaliers love.
Of course.
Absolutely. And I picked also Damian Lillard because
Oh yeah.
I wasn't really thinking about him, and then I was watching this game, and I was like, let me just check. Let me check his stats because I haven't watched him many Bucks, and I was impressed. And it's funny I mentioned that because the Bucks are about to lose to the Blazers. So
Classic Bucks.
classic. So funny I say that, but yeah, I mean, they've been both playing really great basketball, so love to see that. And in the Damian Lillard fourth seed, Darius Garland first seed with the Cavs. So I thought that was kind of obvious to me. Um,
So we got
to
the
me,
order swapped around, but we have the same four guards in our starter and bench for the East.
nice, lovely.
And
Love
then
that
we
for
had
us.
3 of 4 on the West because I didn't have Steph. I
Yeah,
had Kyrie. Okay,
Kyrie. Yeah,
not bad.
cool. So I shall do my front court now for the
Yes,
East.
you shall do your front court now.
In no particular order.
Okay.
Um, it's so funny because I feel like you're going to have some really good ones, but this was the hardest for me because I really couldn't think of a lot of forwards who've been impressing me too
I
much.
got some names here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know what? But I really want to shout out these players because they've been playing pretty well. I have RJ Barrett. Talked about
Okay.
him already a little bit. He's having a great season with the Raptors. Raptors are not doing very well. But I again, it's not particular order. I'm not saying he's the my favorite in the front court, the favorite to like win all the votes. But
We
he's
do know Lakers Raptors is your dream finals.
it would be. I was like, who would I root for? Lakers. Anyway, so but yeah, I like the season RJ Barrett's having quite a bit, and just the future is very bright for them. So it's very nice to see that. Second, I have Jaylen Brown, who's also having a very good season with the Celtics.
Okay.
And third, this one was hardest. I really had to rack my brain to try to find a player to put here that I was kind of happy with. And I put Pascal Siakam.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Pacers are doing pretty well. I mean, Halliburton's not having the best season. Miles Turner is, he's a good player, but he's not really the guy for the Pacers by any means. But I think Pascal has helped a lot. This is his first full year with the team,
Hmm.
and they had some issues earlier, but now it seems like they're coming back on track. I think they're fifth or sixth in the East right now. I forgot to check. They're fifth. Yeah. So kind of right there with the Bucks. Although I think the Bucks are a better team, but I think Pascal Siakam is the guy for them. So
Okay.
that's what I picked. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll dive right into mine.
Please do.
Got a couple names that we've talked about. Jaylen Brown, 40 games
Cool.
played, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Efficiencies aren't great, honestly. 45% from the field, 32% from three, 74% from the line. Um, Underrated defense, I think, as part of his career, especially because they have Drew Holiday, Derek White, who are kind of known for their defense. Um, and I say this after Thompson absolutely fried him last night for the game winner. Still an all-star, though. Still an all-star. Celtics are really good. I think they probably get a second person in there, like basically for free.
Yeah.
Um, and that's him. I have Pascal Siakam in my bench forwards. Yeah, it's a good pick. Probably the lowest point total I have. 45 games, only 20 points. 7 rebounds, 3 assists. But he's efficient. 53% from the field, 41% from three, 74% from the line. Pacers at the 5 seed, I think, is pretty impressive because their start to the season was probably worse than the Bucks' start to the season. They were looking really, really bad. Halliburton, with all the injury stuff, has kind of had issues this year. So Siakam's been their best player, and he's a very good defender as well. He can defend basically 3-5 pretty comfortably, position-wise. So yeah, he's been keeping them afloat, keeping them at the 5 seed, and the 4 teams above them are all having like stellar seasons. So I think this is an underrated pick. I don't know if he'll make the actual team, but he made my All-Star team, and that's what
Yeah.
matters. Um, and then third guy we haven't talked about, a new name for the equation. Because I didn't have I looked at RJ. The Raptors are just so bad.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
I get it.
um, this team is not great, but they're better than the Raptors. Zach LaVine, you're a front court player because your starting backcourt is Josh Giddey and Kobe White. So that automatically qualifies you as a front court player in the NBA positioning system, even if I think you're a shooting guard. So Zach LaVine, 42 games, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, very efficient. 51% from the field, 45% from three, and 80% from the line. Bulls are the 10th seed, so they're not great. But he's having a really good season for them. Really driving his value up after last year. He got shut down after being rumored to go, being traded to the Pistons. I think his value was kind of at an all-time low, and it seems to have shot up. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, I did look at Zach LaVine for that forward position, but he's just not a forward to me or in the front
Yeah.
court. You know what I mean? Like it was
Uh,
just I just couldn't. I like started typing it and I was like, I can't. But I get it. It was listed at the end. It was like shooting guard, point guard, small forward, and I was like, I just don't see him as a small forward in any.
that's just where he plays in their lineup.
I know, and I mean, he's a very good player. I get it. All right.
Had to
So
dig deep for some of these Eastern forwards this year.
yeah, I know.
Thanks, Paul George. Thanks, Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
Making
you
our
made it
life hard
hard
out
for
here.
us. So shall we do wild cards for West? I'll do mine, then you'll do
Well, we
East.
we haven't done the Western front court.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh, we skipped it. I thought we did it. Oh, you're totally right.
Let's do the Western front court.
All right, shall we? So here we go. So I have, to me, locked in Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
Has been having a great season. And then I have Kevin Durant. I couldn't see him as a starter because I just didn't see him playing enough. But when he does play, it's very good. And like you said, his efficiency is very good. And then third, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. because the Grizzlies are the third seed
Friend of the
and
pod.
friend of the pod on our logo, or no, not on our logo. That's Reggie Jackson. How dare
Signed
I?
on my hat.
Signed on my hat. Yeah. But yeah, he's having a great season too. And the Grizzlies are the third seed. So yeah, that's who my choices for the front court.
Oh, good choices. The guy I was talking about earlier, I mentioned I was in between Kevin Durant and another player for that starting front court position. It was Wimby.
Hmm.
He's my first guy off the bench. 38 games, 24.5 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Efficiency is fine, 48% from the field, 35% from three, 84% from the line. The Spurs are the 12th seed, so they're pretty not amazing, but again, it's not that far off of like the 6th seed. Like the games difference is not huge.
Yeah.
He's also averaging 4 blocks a game. Four. That's crazy. Obviously the defense is generational, something that doesn't always show up in the stat book, but 4 blocks does. And aside from that, there's obviously good defense elsewhere. So he definitely deserved a spot on this team for me. Then I have LeBron on my bench. I mentioned he wasn't in my starters. 42 games played, 24 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. It is close to a triple double. 51 from the field, 38% from three, 77% from the line. Um, I just didn't have him. He made the actual starters of the All-Star game. Because he is LeBron James and will always get the votes to do that, probably as long as he's in the league. But he's still an all-star. I didn't have him as a starter, but I did have him as an all-star. And I didn't know going into the season if that was going to be the case, but it is. He's not, and it feels like Anthony Davis really has taken over and is like so clearly the best player. But he's still there doing his LeBron thing. Still an all-star to me. And then my last front court player I had was Jaren Jackson Jr.
Let's
Um,
go. Okay.
so, same exact front court players as you in the Western Conference, just a little bit different order-wise. 45 games played, 23 points, 6 rebounds, only 2 assists, but 50% from the line. I mean, sorry, 50% from the field.
I was like, that's terrible.
36% from three, 78% from the line. Grizzlies are the third seed, as you mentioned. They're kind of like the Rockets in terms of their team is very like committee oriented and like
Yeah.
system oriented, but he's definitely been their best player. Ja has missed some time with injury and such. And even when he's played, he hasn't been like as great as he has in the past. So I think, after kind of having a slump a little bit since his DPOY campaign, Jaren Jackson's really coming up and being good for the Grizzlies this year. And probably right now, if you did the Defensive Player of the Year ballot, he would probably be like top five, maybe top three.
Yeah.
Um, because it feels like it's like Wemby is going to win it for sure, and then like Evan Mobley, I feel like is making a strong case out in the East, and then Jaren Jackson would probably be right there at the third spot for me. So
Yeah.
he's having a really good season, not really talked about, I think, but I'm
I
glad
mean,
we shouted him out.
absolutely. I mean, the Grizzlies were one of those teams, you literally mentioned it. I just think they spread the wealth so well, and they're successful with that I almost didn't consider anyone really being an all-star. But I mean, he is the guy if there is one, and they are the third seed, so they deserve it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Shall we do West wild card, then we'll do East wild card?
Yeah. Um, my turn, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right. My first wild card. Steph Curry has finally appeared on the list. I'll be honest, until like 6 hours ago, he wasn't on my team. Um,
I
and
get it.
I replaced him. I replaced someone with him. I'll mention who that is in a second. I have one injury replacement per conference. Like the first guy out, basically.
Yeah.
Um, Steph only 37 games, so not a ton of games, averaging 22 points, which is not that many points. 6 assists, 5 rebounds. 44% from the field, which is not amazing. 40% from three, which is very Steph Curry like. 93% from the line, and they're the 11th seed. Remember when the Warriors were 9-3, and I was like, I don't want to talk about them because they played nothing but easy teams. This is why I told you.
Ah,
I told you. You should have listened. Not
me?
not listener.
Me? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Adam Silver.
Adam,
Um,
so yeah, come on, Adam.
but yeah, he did end up making the team. It is in San Francisco. Of course, he was going to be an all-star because the name value. Um, he does slide in here at spot number 12. Basically, I haven't mentioned my 11th guy yet, but basically spot number 12. He's like the last guy for me.
Okay.
'Cause like I said, he was off my roster. Um, but I did put him in there. My last wild card spot, fan favorite, show favorite, on the logo. Domantas Sabonis, you're an all-star. Yes, sir. 43 games played, 21 points, which is third on the team. Fox and DeRozan are both outscoring him. 15 rebounds, leading the NBA, as he often does in rebounds. 6.5 assists. That's pretty good from your center. Um, Also, 61% from the field, very high efficiency. 48% from three.
What? I would not have guessed
And
that.
he shoots like 2.5 a game. He's like, it's not like he shot three threes all season. He's
Yeah.
he's shooting them a little bit, which is crazy because he is not really known for that. Um, and then 77% from the line. The Kings right now sitting at the 10th seed. They have fallen back to earth a little bit after the hot Doug Christie start when he took over that position. Um, I value possessions in basketball. So when you have 15 rebounds, 20 points, 6.5 assists, I mean, that's a great stat line. Of course, there's always questions about him as your, back line for your defense because he's
Mhm.
never been a great defensive center, but he can get down and kind of physical in the paint, and he can also facilitate from that position as well. I just think the Kings don't have a lot of shooting around him, and that's why they're not that good. Keegan Murray's shot has kind of fallen off this year. Fox and DeRozan have never been known as 3-point snipers.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's why he's not being, maybe utilized to his max potential. But I think he's been just good enough to make my 11th spot on my All-Star roster.
Okay. Wait, so who's your injury replacement?
My injury replacement and the guy that was my other wild card spot for Steph Curry was Devin Booker. Um,
He doesn't qualify.
he's played more than Kevin Durant, I think.
Wait, oh, no, no, no. No, I was asking. He doesn't qualify because you said it was an injury replacement.
He's my injury replacement, meaning if one of these 12 guys were injured, he would make my team.
Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I got you. Well, here's who I have.
Let's hear it.
Kyrie Irving.
Hey, I talked about him.
And I threw on a guy. At first Sabonis was on this list, but I'll say he's like my injury guy because he was gonna be on this list, and it's not the first time he'd be an injury guy. Oh, um, I have Alperen Şengün.
Hmm,
I thought the Rockets deserved some kind of representation for being the second seed. He's having a pretty good season. But again, it's tough because it's like with the Grizzlies. So many
we're so by
Rockets.
committee, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really great to see when you can't really pick one person. But I really do love that. He is very important by he can distribute the ball.
Hmm.
He's also like a hub for the offense. Defensively, he's not great, but there's a reason the Rockets are second seed, and I think without him, it suffers quite a bit. So I thought he deserved a shout out, and then I'll say
You
Sabonis
did
is my
that
only
last year too.
replacement. I know, and he deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah, we're so by
Oh,
system and like the scoring is so spread out and do a lot in transition. So I didn't end up with any Rockets on my list, sadly, even though we're the two seeds somehow. I don't know how that happened.
it's okay. You know what? It's okay because y'all are gonna go to the Western Conference Finals at least.
I don't think so, but I like your optimism.
Why
Um,
not be optimistic,
yeah,
That's how I go. So shall I do my wild
you're
cards for the
you're
East?
yes, 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 exactly.
Cool. I will also throw in a no, I don't have an injury replacement, I don't think. Here are my wild cards. Trey Young.
Okay.
Trey Young's having a really good season. His assist numbers are really, really crazy. I don't remember them, but they're there.
Yeah, he is like 11 and a half or something. It's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
it's very good.
His
And
usage rate, I think, is the lowest it's been since his rookie year.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Less Trey Young
Um,
ball this year.
and you know what? They're like have a losing record, but they're afloat in the East. They're like seventh or eighth of the losing records. The East is crazy. And then I do have Cade Cunningham.
All
Uh,
right.
a very obviously we're a big fan of his, and in my ballot I did vote for him because I was just kind of not thinking, and I watched him have a really good game. But he deserves a lot of love, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Still very young, so those are my
Yeah,
two wild cards.
I like it. Yeah, my first wild card, my 11th guy. I also have Cade Cunningham. 42 games, averaging 25 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 45% from the field, 36% from three, 82.5% from the line. I think when I looked originally a couple days ago, they were the sixth seed. They're now the eighth seed because the middle of the East is also, one or two games apart for basically half the teams there. But again, like I've said with some of these guards, he's definitely the engine of that team. He's kind of what keeps their offense running. He's having a pretty good year. I will say, I almost didn't want to put him because he turns the ball over a lot. He is turning over. He's a turnover machine. That's what I was going to say. Um, but with how bad the Pistons were last season to how okay they look this season, I was like, okay, I'll give some Pistons love here. And then my last guy, my 12th guy, who did you say your other guy was?
Trey Young.
Trey Young. I don't have Trey Young. Because his efficiencies were really bad. His
Yeah.
efficiencies were so bad. I was like, oh my God. I have Tyler Hero as my 12th All-Star.
Wow.
Yeah, Tyler Hero
Wow.
better than Austin Reeves. For
No, no, no.
44 games played, 24 points, leading the Heat in scoring, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 47% from the field, 40% from three, 87% from the line. Um, Amongst the chaos that is the Jimmy Butler thing and the Heat season, he has been their best player, and I wanted to reward him for that. So that's why he ended up sneaking in my 12th spot.
Very happy for him. I didn't know he has such a high points per game. It's very good.
Yeah. And then my injury replacement that I listed because honestly doing these 12, I was like, that was not that hard. Um, the Steph Booker thing gave me a little more trouble, but
Yeah.
I had Maxey. I had Maxey as my injury replacement. He missed some time, but he still has like 35-ish games played, somewhere around there. He's averaging like 27 points, but God Almighty, is he not that efficient right now? So, the efficiency was key for me, is key in determining who deserves it and who doesn't. And it's not his fault. He has had a lot of guys out on his team. The Sixers have
Yeah.
been, and the Sixers, that was the other thing. The Sixers are like so bad that I like didn't want to give them an All-Star. Um, but he was kind of the next man up for me.
I get that. I did have Maxi written down, and then I remembered Cade and Trey, and I was like, okay, I want to kind of give that more of a shout out than Maxi, but because I was just watched him having a phenomenal game against the Lakers, so
Mm,
but yeah, I guess he'd be my injury replacement too, because I forgot I did race him. But um overall, pretty similar. I think. I
hmm
mean, kind of like I think last year was even more. We mentioned players that we both didn't have, but this year I think it's just one each conference, right? I think Shingun
Shingun, yeah, I had
and then Trey Young.
Sabonis,
Yeah.
Trae Young, and yeah, I had. Oh yeah, we no, I had Zach LaVine, and
Ah, you did, you
uh,
did, you did.
I
Yeah.
didn't have somebody else that you said.
RJ Barrett.
Yes, so
Ugh.
three differences in the overall 24-man roster. That's
You
pretty
know what?
similar.
Pretty good. It's a passing grade.
If they give someone else an All-Star, they're wrong. It's that simple.
It's that easy.
You
It's
got
just
27
watch the
guys to
pod.
choose from.
Come on, Adam. Watch the pod.
Just listen to the
We're
podcast,
waiting.
dude.
Come on, dude. Anyways, so those are our all stars,
Those
and
are all
they're
All-Stars. The right All-Stars.
the ones in our heart and in your hearts too. That's
The
the
one,
listener.
the ones who deserve it.
So now, listener, you can go to your job or your friends and you can tell them, hey, these are the all stars and that they should be. And if they're not, then Adam Silver's just wrong. You can do
True.
that. You can do that.
You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad we did this. I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about next week. I'm not sure what it'll be. Are these
Um,
going to be
the NBA
announced?
trade deadline is like a week and 2 days from now. So
Yeah, but yeah, so maybe we'll have more trades to talk about. I know it's going to be probably in 2 episodes we'll talk about if there's
I'm sure
more
right
trades.
after the pod we'll be like, okay, now we have to talk about the 46 trades that happened.
Yeah, or we could do it live. That'd be kind of sick.
Well,
But
I like stream it to no one.
no, 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 no,
Oh, like as
no.
it's
I'm
happening, we're
yeah,
just
as it's
sitting here like
happening. Yeah, yeah.
the trade deadline is at like 3 p.m. on a Thursday. I will be at work.
Oh, they just traded somebody, and then oh wait, another. Oh nope. There's more details about that last one. Oh, we got yeah, just like that. Just like silence.
That'd be so bad.
It's like, hey, yeah, so you eat lunch yet or what? Just but yeah, super excited and excited to watch more basketball too. Are you gonna go to any games, you
Absolutely.
think, this year?
I don't know. I guess I should dip down to San Antonio. It's just such a long drive, and I
Yeah.
really hate the parking there. It's so bad.
I mean, are you gonna be in the Houston area anytime soon?
I don't
You
think so.
imagine? So yeah, I mean, I get it.
Oh man, if the Rockets are pretty much a lock to make the playoffs at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta go see a playoff game at
I
least.
know. Maybe I can get my mom to buy me a ticket. Mom, I want to go to a playoff game, Mom. But I'll bring Brian. Come on, Brian and I want to go. She'll be like, okay, I guess. I'll be like, yes.
That's how we win
We get
because
blown out
I'm
by
there.
like 40 by the Nuggets or something. I'm like,
And like,
awesome.
at least I watched Russell Westbrook score 55 on my
Oh
favorite
my
team.
God, that would be crazy.
He scored 55, 40, 20. It's like, oh
Oh,
my God.
Jesus.
Can you imagine? Like, so the percentage is 50, 40, 90. What if someone did that in a game? 50 points,
What's the 90?
40 rebounds, 90 free throws.
90 free throws. They only had 50 points, but they had 90 free throws. I don't, how did that happen?
Okay, maybe we flip it around a little bit. 90 rebounds.
That's like some Wilt numbers in the 60s.
Okay, we can do it. All right, it's about that time.
So it's getting the late
It's it.
loopy
We're
hours.
getting unhinged. This is the time when I think 90 free throws means still 50 points. So,
All right.
um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. Take the shot.
Let's see, I almost made it last time. Let's see if
I
this new
know.
technique is consistent or if that was just a fluke.
Okay, we're waiting.
Well,
Oh,
that one wasn't as good, but
but not a fluke.
yeah,
Not a fluke.
it was the verticality. It was there. It was just a
It
little
was
off to the side.
there. It just was a little off this way.
Okay.
So
This is
so
a podcast.
this and that and everything else that you heard, that was two-man game with Damon and Dom.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Buckets.